Welcome to the Feminine Mistake Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Nicole, and today I am joined by
Hillary
and Sarah.
Today we are joined by actor, writer, director, and professor of early childhood education, Dr. Laura Meyers.
Yay!
Yay!
And the crowd goes wild.
Yay! And of course,
best.
frequent Critical Crop Top collaborator. You've seen her in just about everything we've done so far.
And if you didn't see her in it, she was probably standing behind the camera.
That's true.
Helping out back there
That
somewhere.
is true. Also.
So fun.
So our film today is Troop Beverly Hills, 1989, I believe.
It was 1990.
1989. Troop Beverly Hills, starring Shelley Long and Craig T. Nelson.
Oh, yes.
Of Coach and Parenthood. So before we get into talking about the movie, we're going to talk a little bit about what our experiences were with the movie before watching it for the podcast. So let's start over here with Hillary.
Well, I thought I was a fetus when this came out, but I wasn't. I was still a separate
So
cell
you're still cells.
piece. But I remember watching this as a kid, and I loved it, and I thought it was the best movie. I remember watching it on my little VHS player all the time. It was like one of the VHSs that I had, and my sister and I would watch it, and we'd dance along with the girls in the dance scene.
Oh wow!
And
So these are really serious memories of this movie.
Yeah. It all came back to me last night while watching it with my sister too. I was like, we used to do this in our bedroom, little weirdos.
God, that's adorable.
But yeah, I love this movie.
I hope you were wearing a lot of scrunchies.
Oh
as
God,
well.
that was the first thing my sister said was like, "Oh my God, the scrunchies! I was like, oh, they're beautiful."
Yes.
I also watched this as a kid. I was, I guess, 1 when this came out, but I watched this probably the first time when I was 8, 9, and I watched it a bunch. But when I watched it with you last week, only bits and pieces came back to me, and I felt like I couldn't even remember if I thought her character was cool and awesome, or she was shallow and weird. I couldn't tell.
Too.
Yeah. I couldn't tell. I couldn't remember what I thought about her as a kid. So,
Yeah. Laura.
1989.
It was a good year.
It was a good year. That was my senior year in high school.
All right.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I remember this movie. I don't have a distinct memory of watching it specifically, at the theater or with friends or something like that. But I just remember, as I was watching it, and even when you all asked me and you told me this was the movie that you'd like us to talk about, I was like, yes, this is awesome. So, total trip down memory lane. But
did you like this movie so you liked that?
Yeah, I did. Because to me, Beverly Hills was this really super fantastical place. And so to me, it was just this kind of free admission ticket into seeing what was happening on
crazy universe that you. Yeah.
Absolutely. So the world of scrunchies and high fashion. And
Yeah. Cool. All right. So I do remember seeing this in the theater. I would have been around 10 years old. Let's see. I would have been 10 in 1999. No, I would have been around 10 in 1989. I'm pretty sure, unless my memory is faulty, that I saw this. I know I saw it in the theater. I'm pretty sure I saw it with my Nana, who lives in Miami, and my Nana and Poppy. I'm pretty sure it was a rainy day at the beach or something, and they had to take us to the movies, and then this is what they took us to. So it would have been me and my sister, who probably would have been around 7, I guess, at the time when this came out. And I was surprised that I thought I remembered a lot more about the movie than I actually did.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I remembered the campfire getting rained out and them having to go to the hotel, and I think that was the biggest thing that I remembered. And other than that, I didn't remember a whole lot. And I remember thinking that when I was a kid that Shelley Long was really annoying and shallow, and then found myself liking her a lot more as an adult, which I thought was strange.
Yeah.
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 I was like, why did I was kind of hard on her, I think, as a child.
Yeah.
She was fun. All right, so that was our experience with Troop Beverly Hills, so let's get into it.
You seem sort of distant.
Let's just do it, man. You look stupid and rich.
The house is a mess, Jack. The kids are a mess, Jack. You're a mess, Jack.
You have been a total bitch ever since you came to New York. Fascist.
All right, let's get into it.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Troop Beverly Hills. So I think we can get started right at the top here. And at the beginning, we've got your classic 80s cartoon intro, which was very common in this time period and amazing,
It
right?
was awesome.
It was adorable. I loved it.
So we've got this very like super sexualized like Shelley Long, right? Like very curvy. Like I
totally.
think that's kind of hard to miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
she does the ridiculous feminine poses and little things that
very sex potty, which
Yeah.
is not how I would describe Shelley Long as a character actress. Like she's got kind of a comedic. Maybe that was, I don't know if that was the producer decision or if that was like an image kind of thing they were trying to switch. I didn't really feel like her character was like that in the movie. Like
at least the outfits she wore, like the outfits she wore were more like flirtatious and stuff, but the way she acted wasn't as
yeah, she definitely had
sex
that
kitten.
super rich lady outfit thing going on. But I wouldn't say that. You know, I don't think her sexuality was really a front and center kind of thing.
No, and it was funny because it contrasted really well with the woman that her husband was starting to see, the realtor. So you have this sex kitten at home, and why would you want the realtor? You know, why would you? I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the cartoon was funny and cute, but also I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
very Jessica Rabbit version of Shelley Long.
Yeah, there was a kind of a disturbing part too with a bear. Like her bear was like attacking her and stuff.
Well, she was like wearing the bear.
Yeah, she
and
was
how-
wearing
I don't know. The bear
clothes.
just seemed really aggressive, and it just I
the
don't
bear
know.
seemed aggressive.
It just
There was like
it
the
creeped
bear,
me out.
that
Bear seemed
aggressive
so
bear
sad.
was
It was a
triggering
rapey
for me.
bear. It was a rapey bear.
Oh my gosh.
I did love the moment with the
fair.
hair dryers and the bees where they were
Yes.
like blowing the bees away with the hair dryers. I was
Yeah.
like, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
How about the giant hot dog? Anybody?
I missed
I
that.
miss the
Like
giant
the
hot
kids
dog.
were eating a giant wiener, like an enormous wiener. Like it was comically
Like
large.
all of them were
But
eating it.
Well, there was one girl with it on a fork. It was around the time that the aggressive bear showed up.
Oh.
And then I know we're not there yet, but I noticed that wieners came back.
They
later.
totally came back. That was the
Yes.
first thing
That
I
was
thought of
very
when you said
strange.
Wieners
wiener.
and marshmallows.
Missed all the
Which was
wieners,
really
I think.
interesting.
There was
Yeah.
Hillary. Everyone at this table. I would expect you to pick up
think
on the wieners immediately.
I watched a different movie than you guys.
I mean,
because I never miss wiener.
Oh, it was very prominent.
We both looked. I think Sarah and I both looked at each other and we were like, "Oh my god, I just seen the size of that wiener."
I'm so mad that I didn't see this wiener.
but yeah, the animation, it got me so excited to see the rest of the
Yeah, me
film. But
too.
it was
Yeah.
so
Me too.
funny
Yeah,
that
yeah.
everything in the film, like all of those moments, like from the wiener, from the chasing of the bees, like there were all of these moments that were
Were there
replicated
bees in this
later.
movie? Were there bees?
Not bees, but just the running out away,
Yeah.
and then
there was a lot of
using
running
their
and screaming for sure.
yeah, and their
Yes.
quote unquote Beverly Hills skills.
I feel like there was a lot of screaming generally in the 80s.
Yeah,
and running from
it was
something.
definitely a go-to move.
It's like kicking someone in the balls, which did
Well,
not happen in
yeah.
this movie, but was another go-to move from
yeah,
the 80s.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it should have happened in this movie though.
God,
Yeah.
yes. I
Probably
can't.
a
We'll
few
get into that.
times.
We'll get
Yeah.
into
We'll
that.
get there,
But
but it
yes,
should
I
have
feel
happened.
like we'll get there.
Yeah.
We're coming for you, Craig T. We're coming for you. So the film opens at a Girl Scout meeting. Well, I'm sorry, I should call them they're the Wilderness Girls.
Wilderness Girls,
Wilderness
yes.
Girls, not the Girl Scouts.
So
So
kids.
they
And helpful for your
immediately
teachers.
set up the Girl Scouts, the Beverly Hills troop, as kind of the underdog troop.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's the numbers are dwindling. They've had so many leaders, and this so it's kind of like it's setting up this thing which I think is really strange about this movie, and that is that the rich kids are the weirdos.
Yeah.
They're like the freaks.
Yeah.
The rich kids are.
And
Yeah.
they know,
Yeah.
like they and
Well,
they
and the other
acknowledge
girls
and like
let
say
them
it.
know
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Like other girls tell them that.
Yeah.
And like
Which
You're
is weird
right,
because
it
like
is.
the 80s apparently was the decade of greed is good, and like being rich was like
Well, like in every other movie, the rich kids are the villains.
that's true.
Which is
Yeah.
really so it's a strange even in a movie we'll get into this later, but the director directed Revenge of the Nerds, right? And in Revenge of the Nerds the rich kids are the jerks.
Yeah, the
in
bad guys.
like Pretty in Pink and The Karate Kid, all of these movies the rich kids are always shitting on the poor kids.
Yeah.
And in this movie the rich kids are the freaks, which I thought was strange.
Yeah.
Weird.
But an interesting twist,
Yes.
too.
Their latest candidate for leadership in the Troop Beverly Hills, which is Shelley Long's character, Phyllis. Phyllis, yes. So Phyllis and we get like a little, as they're talking about her, they're like, she likes the outdoors, and then they get to, or no, she likes animals, and it's her like cooing at a diamond frog or something.
Yeah.
So we're getting
And, like,
these like they're
she's
describing
frugal, and
her
she, like, gets
exactly.
a discount on the dress.
Yeah.
Like
I
a
love it.
$8,000, how
Yeah.
like 6,000, something
I think
like
it was
that.
like a
5,600,
$5,600,
and they were
5,600.
going to sell it for $5. She got it down $600
Because it was missing a bead.
Because it was missing a bead.
Oh God, I dream of buying shoes the way she buys them though. She's just like,
Oh,
that
yeah.
one and that one can stay. I'll
take
the
the
rest.
rest.
And I was like, oh, that's all I want.
Hillary's like, this is my dream right here.
Yeah.
They're rattling off all these qualities that you would want in a outdoorsy person, and we're starting getting to see what she's really like, which is she likes to shop and she likes to gossip, and she's, that's I think about it, right? At this point, that's all we get.
Yeah, it was
she's
all
shoppy,
about-
she
there's lots
gossips.
That was
of
the
she's
meetup.
Kind of,
Yeah.
she's a little she's bubbly, she's a little silly.
I will say, I wrote down after this like montage of events, I'm dying. I love Phyllis. She's all I want to be.
So this, Hillary's like, finally, I found a role model in one of these films.
I love her.
This is it.
I liked her. I feel like we can talk about this now.
Yeah.
I remembered her being annoying and shallow, and I actually think she's really a charming
Yeah.
person. Like she's immature at times, and
I would totally hang out with her. I think
Yeah.
she'd be fun to go shop with. She'd be fun to have
Get
cocktails
mimosas.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like those would go hand in hand. So,
well, she drinks the entire movie.
well, between
Not-
the drinking and the smoking. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
she's
the
taking care of
smoking.
children whilst chugging champagne and chain smoking
Yes.
the entire movie.
Yes.
Because
I feel
it's
like
the
that
80s.
was more acceptable in the 80s. A better
Yeah.
time when we
Yeah.
could smoke indoors around children. I wish.
It would make parenting so much easier.
Right?
Well, let's talk about Craig T. So we get our intro. So as soon as she gets home, we get our introduction to her soon-to-be ex-husband, Freddie, which is one of the least sexiest names that are ever. I think Freddy Krueger kind of took
Comes
that.
to mind.
Yeah,
I think Phyllis. I think Floyd is like the worst
Floyd.
man name.
he's about as loving as Freddy Krueger, I would
Well,
say. They're similar in terms of their.
There's
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not.
I've known
nice.
some good Freddys in my life. So the name Fred and Freddie doesn't bother me because I've known a couple of
I'm
cool
okay with
Freds.
Fred.
Fred
I
makes
think
sense.
Fred is a thing I can
I've
handle.
like known a cool guy who's like gone by Freddie, and I was like, I'm all right with that.
See, you said that, and I heard the sound of knives scraping.
Yeah,
like
I understand.
finger knives scraping on like a
knives.
boiler pipe.
That's how I feel about the name Craig.
So to you,
Oh,
Craig
yeah, I
is
hate
the
Craig.
ultimate serial killer.
Craig.
I hate Craig.
No, I'm cool with Craig. I would probably actually be cool. No, I'm cool with Freddie. But it definitely evokes this different personality
Yeah.
than what her husband portrayed.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't what I was expecting.
He's not okay.
And-
Like if it's gonna be a Freddy, and we're not talking about a child murderer, Freddy Krueger, I'm gonna expect Freddy to be like a laughable, good,
Well, right,
like
yeah.
Chuckalux kind of guy, and he's
Yeah.
not. He
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
like rude and condescending,
Snarky,
snarky, and he wears his pants far too high.
Oh, my word.
God.
Yeah.
And all white outfits.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, not always. He does. We'll get.
didn't
There's
he do
one.
that though? Like a couple of
Yes,
times
there
in
is.
this movie. and
There's
it
a
made me
one specific
uncomfortable.
time he wears all white. We'll get there, and it made me want to barf. Anyway, but he does wear very like light linen-y kind of flowy.
Yeah.
But it was the
Yeah.
80s, you know.
It was the 80s. I mean, that was kind of very Miami Vice, and
Yeah.
it just
And he's, just he's made me feel very bristly.
It's so
the
weird
whole
because I
time.
don't remember him at all. Like I remembered the rest of the characters. I
I
remembered
did
the rest
not
of the women,
either.
but I didn't remember this character at all.
No, I did not remember him at all. Like when he came in the door, I was like, wow.
Yeah. Okay, so they introduce him. The first off, he's like making fun of her because they're getting a divorce, and he's basically like, get all the shopping in while you can because I'm about
Right.
to,
Yeah.
cut you off, and you're not going to have any money, which is delightful because, he's basically saying he's going to cut his daughter off as well because, she's going to have custody
Right.
of the child, which we haven't even gotten to the daughter yet.
Which
but
she does not seem worried about.
no, she does not seem worried about that at all. But
No.
he also, at some point, she says, he's in there, and she's like, "What are you doing here? sort of made a decision about, you're going to stay in the guest house, I'm going to stay in the main house. And he's like, well, I've got to get my dumbbells. And she's like, well, you can't touch anything while you're in here. And he's like, I can touch anything that I want.
Yeah, that was just an odd.
And I was like,
that made me cringe.
He was like right next to her too, like
Yes.
leaning in.
I remember that on the stairwell, and cringeworthy moment.
So then they walk into the gym that they have in their house, where their daughter, which I don't know, is musician Jenny Lewis as a child actor. Basically, they're fighting because now they're starting to talk about how Phyllis is going to be the leader of this Wilderness Girls troupe. And he's basically like, well, you're going to fail at it because you fail at everything. You can't do anything. She's like, you don't appreciate what I contributed to this marriage. And he's like, you don't contribute anything. You just spend my money. And they're fighting about how she's worthless. He doesn't believe in her.
I'm curious because he doesn't go beyond, you just shop too much. Like, he doesn't say anything beyond that. Like, I don't know exactly what she's done wrong other than raise his child and
shop.
I mean, like, what is he upset with?
I don't know either. I mean, he's dressed. Maybe he's angry because he's dressed like a robot in all of his commercials, like this cheap robot in his muffler.
A muffler salesman. Which
how do you transition from lawyer to muffler
She put him
salesman?
through law school. I was like, this is how Love Story would have ended if she had lived.
Absolutely. I was thinking the same thing. So Craig T and Shelley Long have a big fight, and then next we go directly into the first Girl Scout meeting, which is a big party, and we can introduce the Wilderness Girls.
They should have just called them Girl Scouts for Nicole's sake.
Yeah,
I know.
Trademarked. The Wilderness Girls, and so now we're going to get introduced to all the kids, and I actually wrote down all the types. First, we've got the sassy ginger kid.
She's like a gambler, and her dad's a plastic surgeon, and she's like getting paid to attend, and she's negotiating the price, and she's driving a hard bargain.
Yeah,
she seems like a tomboy too, like not like traditionally sassy, but more like
she's street smart, like street smart. I don't know. Yeah. She's tough. She's a tough
she's
girl.
Beverly Hills street smart.
She's Beverly. Yeah, she's a wheeler and dealer.
Yeah,
and she has the largest tower of scrunchies I've ever seen on a human head.
Oh my word!
I loved it.
Yeah,
like they couldn't have gotten more scrunchies.
Well, it was
on that
kind of
kid.
an homage to the scrunchie.
It
almost.
Was. It was like a. It was like a scrunchy tribute. So the next kid we're introduced to is the sullen, silent kid, Chica, right? Which I thought was kind of an unexpected name.
Yeah, but it's just an odd name, though.
Yeah,
I don't
it is.
know why.
Yeah.
It didn't seem to fit her very much. But anyway, so she is immediately like, she doesn't seem like she wants to talk to anyone. I would say initially she's like the least developed character, but I think what she ends up being is like the character who's like parents ignore her the most.
Right.
Yeah.
Because she's the one,
parents.
her parents ended up forgetting about her birthday.
Right. Her
correct?
parents forget her birthday later in the film. Yeah. So, next we have the poor kid, and I'm putting poor in quotations. The poor kid.
Well, her dad's an actor. Of course, she's poor.
Yeah,
she's
the
actor's kid.
Right. She's got the out of work actor dad.
And I still don't understand why he drops her off a block away.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
That was odd.
It was weird. I don't know.
Well, didn't he have like a not as nice car?
Maybe that's it.
Maybe that was it.
So the poor kid has the out of work actor dad. After poor kid, we have Asian kid or Filipino. I'm not really sure. Anyway,
I don't know. It's the dictator and his wife.
But
right.
She
There's
wears
nothing
sunglasses
stereotypical
all
about
the
that.
I did think it was hilarious, though. She just called him dictator the whole time. Do you prefer dictator or dick?
Yes, that was a good line. But yeah, so the Asian kid has the dictator parents.
Is she the one that wears sunglasses all the time?
Yes, she has sunglasses on all the time. But I feel like she didn't really have much of a character other than like, I'm Asian and my dad's a dictator. I mean, she had some good sassy lines, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah.
Her name was
All of
Lily.
them at one point had something really clever to say.
They did do a good job of giving the kids something to do. Like there weren't any kids that you were like, what? Like they did all have like a little moment.
They kind of had the same. I mean, everything was kind of equitable with their contributions to the like lines and story and so forth, and their background.
Had something to do.
And it was interesting though, because if you had their troop photo, so to speak,
it was pretty diverse.
It was pretty diverse,
Yeah.
and I mean, for the '80s, I was kind of impressed.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
granted, there were token characters, but
they were all token.
It was a good. It was good to not see like all white girls.
Right.
That's true.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's something that I didn't necessarily recall, but I was looking for going in this time. And I was like, oh, okay.
I would
There
not
was a
have
little
appreciated
effort
that in
made.
the 1980s, but
No,
nonetheless, it's
no. Sadly, I
nice
wouldn't
to see
have.
that. I don't know that
Yeah.
you could say that about a lot of. Actually, I bet if you compare Ernest Goes to Camp was like the rough kids, and so
Yeah.
like I remember anyway. We're not here to talk about Ernest Goes to Camp, but I think there was a similar thing going on there where they had like token characters. So we also have what I would describe as Nerd Kid, the one who's in therapy.
Oh yeah, and
the
her dad's a
glasses.
filmmaker, and it
Yeah.
was hilarious. I loved that scene.
You love
Oh,
They're
Tessa.
like, they're like
Tessa,
driving
yeah.
in the car, and he's like, "Show me the dailies. Like, I need Redford, 5,000 extras and helicopters." And the other guy's like, "You blew up all the helicopters yesterday," and I was like, "Yes, loved it."
Yeah.
so
So
it
it
was
was-
hilarious.
This was
So
like
funny.
Hillary's like
Yeah.
that's gonna be me one day.
Probably.
She's like, show me the dailies, sir. We're driving. Not now. Probably
I
not
don't
the best
care.
time. Anybody recognize his, I don't know, driver guy? I'm not really sure what that guy's job was, or were they
Were they
boyfriends?
gay?
Yeah, it was ambiguous to me. Like
It
maybe
was-
they were gay, but like
Yeah.
now that I'm thinking about it, it's like in retrospect, I'm kind of like
We
maybe
never
they
saw
were.
her mom. Like, I thought they were gay.
Maybe they were gay, and like the movie just wasn't wanting to come out of the closet
But
about it.
I think I thought they were gay when I was a kid too.
I didn't, but I was like, oh, that's the guy who helps him with stuff.
Yeah.
That's his friend, Hillary,
Yeah, I
right?
think-
Yeah.
They've
I
been
didn't-
living they're roommates. They've been roommates for like 20 years, but they're just roommates.
I had gay uncles growing up, so like I knew what that was like very young. So I was like, oh, those two dudes are gay. Okay, and like
Well,
Moved
now
on.
the guy who was driving played what was his name on Sex and the City? He was Stanford. So he did play.
What? Oh, wow. yeah. Stanford.
Yeah, he did play.
Okay.
The
which
name
was
is
also
escaping
a
me now.
gay
Carrie Bradshaw's
character.
gay friend. Yes. On
wow.
Sex and the City.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
is the
maybe
same
you
guy.
guys
I
are
didn't
dead on.
see. Oh, look at you. See, that went over.
It went over my head.
It went over my head
Yeah.
until like we started talking about it, and then I was
Yeah,
like,
now
oh,
it makes sense.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I just didn't.
they are.
But it
those
wasn't
guys must
anything.
be
I mean,
boyfriends.
it wasn't
wasn't-
blatant.
it
It was
wasn't
really
explicit.
subtle.
No,
yeah.
it was not. It was not. The
Yeah.
movie just kind of.
they glossed over it a bit.
Yeah, they did.
Well,
But I thought
a
it was
bit.
good.
And then we've got sassy black girl.
Very, very talented singer. She sings later on.
Yeah.
That's
does,
right. Yeah.
Her dad was pulled over
Yes, I can only assume for
because
driving while black. Maybe.
yes,
Was that-
Yes.
that's what I was thinking.
Isn't her dad Kareem Abdul-Jabbar though?
No,
Wasn't it?
No.
Who was it?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was in this movie, but he was
Yes.
not in the scene.
Oh,
No, her
okay.
dad was like a boxer. I feel like that wasn't that his
Yeah.
job. He was like a
Yeah.
famous boxer, and like the
Okay.
cop pulls him over, and she's like, "Don't you know who my dad is?" And he's like, "No, he's black. Obviously, that's why I'm pulling him over."
Right.
And then she's like, "My dad is a boxer," and he's like, "Oh wait, can I get your autograph?" You know,
Right.
typical
Yeah.
scenario.
They even like recognized this like back in the 80s. I was surprised. I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
So that happened. Then next we have blonde, who I would describe as blonde girl. She's the one who's actually the child actor. So her
That's
mom
who it is.
writes
Okay.
romance
Yeah.
novels.
Oh
which,
yes, and her mom is like talking into a voice recorder and like
Right.
Yeah.
dictating her story, and the daughter like chimes in and like what does she say? Anyone
something
write that
about was it a pulsating member?
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that.
something
Yeah.
maybe. I think there are a lot of like inappropriate child-parent relationships in
Yeah.
here. Here's one of them.
I think
Apparently, her
that's
daughter's also
really
a child
the
actor.
common thread, like that, all of the parent-child relationships are considered
Peers.
dysfunctional.
Peers,
you
yeah.
know, and
There's no parent there. It's really like the kids are the responsible ones. It's almost like everybody is that scene from Wet Hot American Summer with Molly Shannon, where the kids are like, and everyone's looking at me like you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
No,
Anybody
I know
seen
what
Wet
you're
Hot
talking
American
about.
Summer? Okay, what
Yeah. Oh my
the
goodness.
fuck are you talking about?
Where like the kids are talking to her about
Hillary,
her
you've
divorce.
not seen Wet
and,
Hot
like,
American Summer?
I haven't.
Guys,
We're gonna
I haven't.
watch
I'll-
that for the are we at some point? That'd be-
I mean, I don't think that qualifies for this podcast, but I just feel like as comedians, you can't not watch Wet Hot American Summer. It's one of the best comedic
So,
movies to come out in the last 10
Hillary and I
years.
have our homework assignment.
Well,
Well,
here
I
did
mean,
it
just
come
watch
out?
it with me, for
Yeah.
God's sake. All right.
Okay, so I have a question about this.
Yes.
So in these scenes, in all of the instances besides the actor girl, they're all being dropped off by their dads.
Yeah, that's true.
I found that very strange. But even there, the dad was in the car with the mom, and it was the same with the boxer guy. Because, like, I didn't think that was, like, a thing that was very typical, especially of, like, girls. Because, like, my dad loves to tell the story that, like, when I was a kid, I wouldn't go to ballet unless he took me because I wanted him to take me to ballet. And he was devastated because he always dreamed about taking his son to football. And he called his mom, like, from the parking lot and was like,
Whoa,
well,
that's
I
real
always
fucking
wanted to
sad,
do
dude.
that, but now I'm taking my daughter to ballet. No, it's like a touching story. He tells it more touching than I do.
Oh my God. It sounds like a story of lifetime disappointment to me.
Nah, well, maybe. I don't know. I'm turning into the man he always wanted me to be now, so don't worry, guys.
Finally. We're going to the Masters together.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Interesting.
But yeah,
I
found that
noticed that
strange
too.
that
I
the
wonder
dads
if
were
it's
dropping
meant
them
to compare. Might be meant to be a comparison between Hannah and her dad, and how her dad is fucking like he lives in the guest house, and yet he never speaks to her for the majority of the movie.
That's true.
Like he
Doesn't
ignores her.
participate.
But then wants
doesn't
custody
speak.
all of a sudden.
Right. Okay.
Can
mini
I just
mini
say
pleather
one more
dress.
thing, though,
Yes,
about
please
the,
do.
the meeting that they
Yes.
have is that Velda is like giving instructions, and she says like that one of their goals is to like sell cookies, but she's like, and we're going to sell cookies. And I was like, she's saying it like it's kill insurgents. Like she's leading
Definitely
an army
has
into
a
battle.
military
Yeah.
industrial.
We
complex.
should talk about
so
her more
funny.
because like we've been talking a lot about Shelley Long, but
Yeah.
this Velda character was a piece of work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Velda the villain. Yeah.
Yeah,
She was
for
just
sure.
like, she always looked like she had like a bad smell in her nose or something.
She did, and I feel like in general, they kind of masculinized the
Yes.
women that
Yeah.
were like the good characters were pretty dainty ladies, and the not good characters were more masculine.
Broader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they go camp. This is the first real time we see them do like an event, and they're camping in the desert. The girls are all reading magazines. Shelley Long is still drinking and smoking.
With her champagne
right.
beside her.
Which
The
looks
entire
awesome.
bottle in that silver container.
Yeah, the
like,
little cooler.
Well, they've
Yes.
got a tent.
with people who assembled the tent for them
assembled
that the
tent
girls
for
were
them.
complaining
and it's not
about.
like a tent, like a little dinky tent. Like it's like a sort of Arabian Nights kind of tent.
Yeah.
It's like the
Totally.
tent you'd
Yeah.
rent for like a wedding or something.
Yeah, and they're like having fondue, and they're like
they're
dipping
a bunch of
strawberries, and
espresso.
and I'm
Yes, I
like,
would do
if
that.
if this was what camping was like, I would go camping.
Exactly.
I feel like this is the kind of camping for
absolutely.
me. Like I'm more of a glamper than a camper,
That's me.
if we're being honest.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
So I was really on board
honesty
with it.
moment, Yes.
Right
And
before they're about to make the espresso, it starts raining, and Shelley Long has some kind of stroke trying to carry the fondue back to the
just
tent.
slips up.
She just falls in the
just
mud.
cannot stand up.
Like
And
400
her
times,
fur coat.
and then they sing "Kumbaya."
Which they continued to sing, and I was like, "Oh, I forgot that this was their song of choice."
Yeah, it came back again and again in
Multiple
the soundtrack.
times.
I liked how positive she was about it too. She
Yeah.
like walks in there and she's like carrying the pot in her teeth.
In her teeth.
And
It was
she's like,
adorable. It was.
Yeah,
It was
this
cute.
is special. And they were, and like all the girls were like, "No, I hate this," and she was like, "It's okay, it's fine."
She's like, "Okay, we can leave, but we have to sing Kumbaya first."
"Yeah,
Yeah.
And they sing Kumbaya.
Which actually got them to, the 5-star hotel.
yeah."
Right. They go into the Beverly Hills Hotel, and they continue their camping trip there.
And that's where the wieners come out. And then the
Yes.
marshmallows.
Wait, let's not
my
get to the
word.
wieners yet. We're not
Okay,
at the
I'm
wieners
sorry,
yet.
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. We're excited.
First, we
about
have the
wieners,
campfire
apparently.
story.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Shelley Long tells the perm story.
Yeah.
I love that they all wanted to hear a scary story from her.
Yeah.
And then the big grand finale, he permed me.
Right. So she's like, "So I went to my hairdresser."
Yeah.
And what was her hairdresser's name? She was like, "My usual hairdresser wasn't there. There was another man there named Ronaldo."
Yes.
I think the perm story was one of my favorite things,
It
but it
was-
was
that
something
was
I
so
had
great.
remembered. Like it had stuck out to me. Like I remembered that from a kid when she told the.
And to her credit, a perm is very different than a body wave.
All right.
that's
So in
fine.
the morning, Shelley Long, I guess, is sleeping, and the wieners come out.
Wieners are out.
The wieners.
The waggling wieners.
The waggling wieners.
and-
There's an adult man playing cards with them, and they're betting with wieners.
Yes.
Which, you
And
know,
marshmallows, yes.
is
Like
pretty
marshmallows.
typical of
Cock and
any
balls.
hotel experience.
I didn't even think about that, but you're right. It is like
Yeah.
cards and
Marshmallows,
balls.
cock and balls.
And honestly,
Oh.
if you freeze frame it, I will say those were strategically placed on
Yeah,
the plate.
Yes.
I would agree.
Yes.
Yeah, it made me uncomfortable.
I just thought he was really cute. So
I mean, I'm not saying he seemed rapey.
no,
He wasn't like the
No.
aggressive bear
no.
in the
But
cartoon.
he should not have been in that
No.
room.
No, he should not have.
No.
And you're right.
He seemed
the-
into those girls too. Like,
It's an adult man and a bunch of preteen girls and no adults. But also, it felt innocent to me enough. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I'm thinking that using the wieners and the marshmallows in bedding situations, even with adults present,
supervision.
no, it's
is
still,
you
it's
haven't done this with
somewhat
kids before?
problematic.
You haven't
I
done
mean,
this with your kids before, Laura?
well, typically no.
It's a slippery
but
slope.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
It's, you know. I mean, it's walking that line.
I will also
It's
say
a
though, when I
walk-
was a
it's
kid,
waggling
betting
that
of
line,
all
if
It's
you will.
waggling that
It's
line in
waggling
your
that line.
face, and then
Yeah.
tossing some marshmallows as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Velda and Annie show up to the hotel, and and Velda is all full of
Yes.
outrage because they're not camping; they're at the
No.
hotel, and they are admittedly
I mean,
gambling.
they were glamping.
They were
And
glamping.
Velda calls her a bimbo, which really bugs me.
Yeah, in front of
Yeah.
the children. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was uncool. Also, she's like, well, the red feathers sewed their own clothes and killed a bison, and
squirrel.
No, they
Ate squirrels.
chopped their own
Right, they were eating
trees,
squirrels.
made their own cloth, and ate squirrel meat, and they never once had to go to the bathroom.
that doesn't sound like fun to me. At all.
No.
It doesn't. And also, why the fuck are they chopping down trees and making their own cloth?
Yes, why are
isn't-
they chopping down
Why isn't
trees?
anyone allowed to use the bathroom?
I mean,
No, they
you would-
didn't have to.
They didn't have to go to the bathroom.
Well, maybe they were
They're that tough.
dehydrated.
Either
Yeah.
way, it's a bad
Yeah,
situation.
it just
Either
doesn't.
way,
It seems like child abuse. To
They
me.
should have to
Yeah.
poop at least once during that.
Some-
trip.
Well, she
Somebody.
didn't mention pooping, so it's possible that they did poop. And then Velda decides that she's had enough of this nonsense, and she recruits Mary Gross's character Annie to spy.
They put like a camera inside a book.
Yeah, the least hidden
Yeah, which
camera
is
you can.
not
The
hidden,
lever.
yeah.
Like she takes out a pocket knife and like cuts a part of the handbook out and
Right.
sticks a camera in there with
camera
like a
there.
hole in it.
Menacing.
yeah.
I do love Mary Gross though.
Yeah.
She was
Oh,
adorable.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then they have another Wilderness Girls.
They have
meeting.
a friendship meeting, right? And
Yeah.
Annie joins them.
Yes, and they're all talking about how bad they feel because
Right.
the Red Feathers made fun of
Well,
them,
mean
and
to
they
them,
don't
yeah.
have any
And
patches.
they're like, we're losers, and
yeah.
So they decide to make up their own patches.
Yes.
Their Beverly
Yeah.
Hills patches. So we have the diamond appraisal badge.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
have
yes.
the
Yes. Which that
Dance
was
badge.
honestly that was
we have
priceless.
the dance badge, which
Yes.
Hillary mentioned was a
was
big
awesome.
memory for you.
Yeah.
Was
Oh,
the
yes.
dance scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have the CPR badge, in which we have the objectification of the cop.
The dude.
Yeah, and
the
there's
hot
a
cop.
song
Totally.
in the background
The
that I
hot
wrote
cop,
down.
and
Don't
then-
forget this song.
Mm-hmm.
French kissing in the USA.
Yeah.
Oh,
French
was that?
kissing in the USA. Yeah, the whole time in the background.
I
and it
feel
was
like that's
beautiful.
not how you really teach CPR, but
No, it's
Oh,
not.
no.
And the camera went
he
away.
leaned
Like
in.
they panned
Yeah,
away.
they
when
panned
he, like,
away.
leaned in. I was
Totally
like, is this
did.
kiss gonna be that grotesque that they can't show
'cause
it?
he's like, I need to practice on a real human being. And fortunately, he picked one of the adults.
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
that
Thank
was
God.
a positive. Thanks for finding that silver lining.
That's what I'm here to do.
Yeah, I just felt awkward for the girls at that moment. And,
Yeah.
I guess they were also getting their sexual education badge
Yeah,
at the same
they
time.
sex
felt
ed
awkward,
badge.
too.
I like it.
Didn't it
Yeah.
cut to their faces? They
And
were all
they were all like, ew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then the next thing they do is for reasons I can't explain, Shelley Long takes all of the children to divorce court with her to earn
Yeah.
the divorce court
Yeah.
patch,
And they're all
which I joked about in my notes, but was actually a patch
Yeah.
that they came up with.
and they're
Well,
all wearing
yeah,
these
she
ridiculous
created it.
outfits.
Right,
It's
they were all
crazy.
But
wearing
didn't
their
she
court
make
outfits.
a comment saying or someone made a comment, saying something about hopefully they won't need this? I feel like something like that came
No,
up.
I think she said something like the judge was like, "Why do you have all these kids here?" And she was like, "Well, I'm just teaching them about our legal system, and with a woman like you in charge."
Right.
And the judge was
Stroke
like, "Well,
the ego.
okay."
Yeah.
Yikes.
But I feel like at some point
Seems
there
like
was
maybe
something
they
that
shouldn't
was
have
said.
been there.
Yeah, probably
Well,
not.
yeah.
Although
I
it was the
probably
80s.
wouldn't have involved them.
And let's face it, everyone was getting divorced in the 80s.
Yeah.
Porn to
So she takes the children to divorce court, and discovers that Craig T is thinking about remarrying.
Yeah,
already.
but he's
Someone else.
not
even though
even
they're not
finished
divorced
with
yet.
divorcing. Yeah.
Which is all kinds of gross.
Yeah. Just
All kinds of
so
gross, but yet
And
it
she's
was this-
upset, like she wants him back,
was.
and I'm like, no, girl,
No,
you can do
you
better.
don't.
You
You
can
don't
do
want him
better.
back.
Only go on some sort of boat. Maybe?
Right, they're on a boat.
Why are they on a boat
I'm on a
again?
boat.
Motherfucking boat. They're on a boat. They're doing.
They're receiving their badges.
Oh, the badges.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of dudes there. There's like a dude band and all these dudes hanging around these girls. I'm
What's
just
their
like,
dad?
It's a pirate.
it's more than
It's
just their
pirate
dads.
themed.
It's a pirate patch party.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
I just didn't like the idea of a bunch of dudes coming to like these like 12-year-old girls patch
Well,
park.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
parents there too.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not really interacting with the girls. It was definitely less suspect, I felt, than the wiener scene.
True.
I think they were just kind of there playing instruments.
Okay.
You know,
Playing their own.
they were just a
instruments.
pirate band. But yeah, so she gives out all the patches. The girlfriend is there. Craig T is being real gross, and then the girlfriend gets knocked off the boat.
She falls over the board, and it's so funny.
It is.
All the girls are given their patches.
Yay.
She
And
put
then
some wine in the stew.
Oh, right.
right.
something.
And
Wait,
the-
does
Annie's still taking
Dad
pictures.
takes picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do-
there's
doesn't the
photos.
dad like lean in to kiss the daughter, and then the daughter moves and he accidentally kisses
Did
Shelley
that happen?
Long? Did it happen?
I
feel
don't
like it
There
remember
was
that.
an accidental kiss, and then
Yeah.
the girlfriend falls over.
Okay,
Yes.
I must have missed that.
So, like,
Okay,
he
so they
leaned in to
both
kiss the
go in
daughter.
to kiss the daughter on the cheek,
And the daughter
and
moves.
They,
Oh.
and
daughter
she like
moves.
moves.
Did she move to
Kinda
try to
moves
get
her
them
head back,
to-
and then
ew.
they're
And
like,
then they kiss.
They kiss, and
the
then
girl moves out.
I
the
missed
girlfriend's
that. I really missed
panic
that.
mode.
Yeah.
Yikes.
But you caught the good part where she just falls overboard.
Yeah, well, how could you not? I mean,
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
I would say another trope of the 80s was people falling off of boats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
used a lot.
What did they
Band of
have? Like
troop.
36 badges in 3
Yeah,
weeks
they
or
earned
something? I
a
mean, it
ton
was
of badges.
insane. Yeah. Which was awesome.
So
Yeah.
next we have another big Girl Scout meeting.
Yes.
And they're giving out, it's cookie day.
Wait,
and they're
we
deciding,
missed Chica's birthday, though.
oh shit.
Oh, Chica.
We forgot it,
Oh
too,
my
guys.
God, we're just as bad as Chica's parents.
But that's a cute moment.
It is, you're right.
She shows up, and she's like, and Rosa runs in and is like, Chica looks sad. And she's like, how can you tell? And I'm like, haha, but I'm bumped. Because she always looks kind of sullen.
Yeah.
We find out that her parents went to Monte Carlo and forgot her birthday.
Yes.
Right.
Can we talk about the burrito cake
I loved the burrito
that was made by the Latin
in
housekeeper?
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, give me.
Yeah.
What?
I didn't
She
notice
said, give
that
me
until
5 minutes.
this
Give me
time
10
that it was a
minutes. Something
burrito.
like that.
So
And it was a
it's-
big burrito.
I mean, it's
Giant
basically like it's a
Yeah.
burrito cake.
Well, she has, someone who is
That's
Latino
Crazy.
working for her in the house. She had another minority
The
working
Asian
for
guy, yeah,
her
doing-
outside
yeah.
in the yard.
I mean, it would be like if he made an egg roll cake. That's all I'm saying.
Oh no,
It's
I
like
am
fucking
with
weird.
you. Yeah, I mean why stop with the stereotypes at this point? So
Yeah, I guess you're
mean
right. It was just like, really though, a burrito
Yeah,
cake.
it
I mean,
was- it
I
was
I feel like the
disappointing.
burrito cake was like my Native American headdress.
But also get ready, guys, because I'm
There
probably
you
going to have a burrito cake for my birthday. 'Cause that sounds delicious.
There's like burrito cakes from now on.
now we know.
There's way more cheese on that than a regular cake. I'm into it.
It's pretty true.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will take this birthday cake with extra guacamole. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. So Chica has her birthday. We have Cookie Day. At Cookie Day, everybody's saying how many boxes they're going to
yeah.
sell.
Yeah.
And of course, the Red Feathers are just like,
1,000
I want
boxes.
1,000 boxes. Troop Beverly Hills is then inexplicably stripped of their badges.
Yeah.
Right. They don't count them anymore.
Well,
They
why-
give them away. They're like, Velda asked for them.
no, Velda tells them
That
you
they're
need
not
to-
real,
You,
and
you
she's
need
like-
to turn in your badges. Those are not real badges. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what
And then
authority
she
do you
spoke
have?
to some, well, she said, I spoke to so-and-so, like someone higher up in the organization. She said, you have to give them up.
was she talking about that lady? Because I'm pretty sure she's lying
know.
about that.
I'm pretty sure
I
she's
think
lying
she
about
I
it.
was like, don't
making
give them
things
your
up.
badges. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't.
But
I
the
don't feel like
kids
she has
take it
no
in
authority.
stride too.
Yeah.
They're like, whatever. I don't need a badge. I'm a real wilderness girl.
So I
no
guess the
matter
point
what.
is they're like getting comfortable in their identity.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's I would say they used it as a sign.
And
so they
then-
give those up, and then they announce that, well, we can outdo that. We're going to sell 2,000
Right.
Yeah.
boxes of cookies.
And that's when Annie quits too.
Not yet, because they
It's
go
not that
selling
bad?
door to door,
Oh,
and they
okay.
go to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's house, and it turns out the red
that's what he
feathers,
is.
those
Sly little things.
fucking kids, have been going around
On their turf, on their
turf,
And they're
selling
cheating.
cookies.
They're using a car. They're not even walking door to door. Even
Is
the
that
Beverly
cheating?
Hills girls are like walking.
Are you
door
not
to door.
supposed to use a car?
I don't know. I always felt like when the kids did that for trick or treating, I
You're
always
like,
felt like it was cheating.
yeah.
You know, like when somebody's
Who would
mom
do
drove
that?
them around.
Who would drive around when you're trick or treating?
Oh,
You're
yeah,
just
no.
going to walk.
Nobody's gonna see your
Somebody
costume.
always used to do
Hey,
that
when
in my
I was
neighborhood.
selling cookies, it was door to door and walking.
Yeah.
And I used my red wagon to
Oh my
deliver
God.
the cookies.
I was gonna say there were kids in my
yeah.
neighborhood that did that. They like walked door to door.
Oh
selling
yeah, no,
them,
I
and
used.
I'm
mean,
to,
there's
now,
a
you would
process.
never be allowed to do that shit today.
No.
Like you would never walk up
No.
to strangers' houses and knock on the door and offer them cookies. I used to go door to door and sell like lollipops.
Yeah, no.
And fucking wallpaper
I used to
and
have the
whatever.
run of my neighborhood. Like I used to be able
Well, no,
to
I
be
just
like
mean
4
like
streets away. Like I would
whatever
just
you were
do it
selling
again,
for
you
your
know?
I was scooting around
organization.
all over
Like
the
you would
place.
go door to door, knock on the door, and try to sell people
And now
stuff.
you might knock on someone's door and they might shoot you.
Well, and
that's
it's
true.
been years since I've bought Girl Scout cookies from an actual Girl Scout. I always buy them from their moms, who like
Oh, good
brings it
point.
into
Or
the
at
office
the store
is
and
like,
there's a table.
yeah,
You know.
But I feel like it's always somebody's mom, and they're like, "Hey,
They're always
like my daughter's
ambushing
selling
me in
them.
the
You want to
parking
sign
lot."
this form?" And like you sign the form, and you
Yeah,
get cookies
you're
a
right.
couple weeks
Or
later.
Facebook. I
Yeah,
fucking
Facebook.
bought
Yeah.
cookies through Facebook last year.
Nice social media selling.
Yeah.
At this point to me in the movie, you know, Phyllis has actually been up against, and sometimes unbeknownst to her, up against multiple obstacles and challenges that Velda has imposed on her. And
Yeah.
yet she's still persevering and scooting along and moving
Yeah.
forward. And she's doing so for the most part with a really positive attitude. And
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
problem solving. She's involving
Yeah.
the girls. And it's interesting that she's really made it this far, because the way they the picture they painted at the beginning, she would never have made it this far.
Well, but I guess I would argue that she always had it. It's just nobody
Oh,
else
yeah.
around her believed that she could do it. I feel like there's not any moment in the movie where we're like, oh, she's a fuck up. You know, like I thought
Right.
this
Yeah.
movie was, honestly, when I put this movie in my TV, I was like, this is going to be a movie about a selfish, materialistic lady who learns to care about something besides herself. But that is not what this movie is about.
Yeah,
She at
no.
no point shows an inability to run this troop or take care of these kids. She at every moment chooses to do it their way. Like she's doing it in a way that makes sense to her and these Beverly Hills kids, whatever that means. But she's really kicking ass the whole time, honestly.
Yeah.
It's the other people around her that don't seem to believe
And
in her.
the
Yeah,
movie is
she-
all about how they overcome Velda.
Well, everyone. They overcome
Yeah.
everyone's low expectations for them, I think.
I mean, yeah, they had to overcome. I mean, I think
Even
even the
her
parents.
husband.
I mean,
Yeah.
the parents, her husband,
the other
Velda,
parents seem
the
like they're chipping in
stereotypes.
as well. And,
Yeah.
you know, I think it's cookie time.
Yeah,
It's cookie
Yeah,
time.
it's
Laura's
Yay.
like, cookies.
I know. I was like, we have cookies,
Yeah.
but yes.
when the girl does like the Tina Turner impression.
Yeah, she's
And
wearing
I-
the Tina Turner wig. They're dancing. They've got sparkly kerchiefs on.
And I had some Rooster 14 cookies last night that we ordered, me and my sister, and that was definitely when I broke that one
You were
out.
like,
And I
it's
was
time
like,
for the cookies.
singing about cookies for 10 minutes, gotta eat this.
I know. I was watching the film and wishing that I had cookies, and my
Yeah.
intent was to stop by somewhere, anywhere, and get cookies
Anywhere.
anywhere.
So basically, in the scene, we have rich kids doing what they do best, which is to take their money and create
There was
advantages.
a
Yeah.
fat joke in there somewhere.
Yes, there were fat jokes.
Oh,
Rosa,
yes.
the Latin maid, was shaking maracas.
Yeah.
The black girl was wearing a Tina Turner wig and singing
Yes, she
like
was.
the
Yeah.
She
only.
had a fantastic
She
voice.
did have a
She did.
It was a
fantastic
fun
voice.
little number.
Yeah,
It was.
It was a
fun.
fun little number.
And what's her
Laura
face?
just made a face.
Shelley-
Say what you really feel. Say what you really feel. This
No,
is
I
a
was
safe
just,
space.
the continuing perpetuation of the stereotypes.
Yes, there were.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of stereotyping
stereotypes.
going on in this
So,
movie,
I mean,
for
and
sure.
it continued from the maracas to the wig and the singing. Why the wig? I mean, she had an amazing voice that could have stood on its own.
Yes, that's
I mean,
true. I feel like this was not, and other people can disagree with me, but I feel like at least for the actor, the child actor, the young African American child actor, I feel like this was probably the least stereotyping I think that was going on, because she had a great voice. They decided to give this child this part to do. It gave her something to do in the show.
Yeah, but I think
what I mean? Like, they gave her something
But they
to
would
let
have
her.
cast
It was intentional.
another black girl with a great voice. They would have cast any black girl with a great voice. for
Yeah,
that
maybe
part.
they would have. But also, I would like to point out that this was 1989, and Tina Turner was one of the hugest pop stars.
That's
So they
true.
could have picked
Yeah.
her, or they could have had a little white girl do Madonna. But they
Yeah.
were going for, let's pick somebody doing an impression of a pop star, and Tina Turner was one of the biggest pop stars. So I just wanted to point that out.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know that there was that. It was quite.
I just know that there's.
It wasn't like
It just-
wearing a Native
I think-
American
yeah.
headdress, is what I'm saying.
No, okay. I was happier. Yeah, I'm
I just
happier
know
with
that there's
than
a
the other,
history
but-
of black people being depicted as these entertainers, and that's how we like appease them. I guess is like we are racist against them and we like enslave them, but we like let them sing and dance for us.
I
And-
see that. I see
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But
It's just because of all the other stereotypes. It was like boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom,
yeah,
boom. And
yeah.
so to me it was intentional. Like I get the homage to Tina Turner and
Yeah.
the time period. And in that sense, yeah, it was smart that they chose that as opposed to other options. But at the same time, it's kind of like it was this collage of stereotypes
Yeah.
within one scene.
Yeah,
And
I mean-
that's just always disappointing. But
Yeah.
they sold a lot of cookies. Ended up
well, we had fat jokes as well.
we
There
did,
was.
yes,
At the gym, they
At the
planted
gym.
themselves.
They
at the
planted
gym.
themselves at the gym, and almost primarily the only women coming to the table were the what I would consider to be the overweight
with
gym
the
members.
first girls, I rewinded this to find out.
There
the
was
first
one
girls
thin
who
girl.
come up
There was
are
one.
the fat girls, and
Yeah.
then the thin girls come up afterwards. And I was like,
I thought there was one. Like I looked
Like,
last night when I was watching it
compar-
again, and I feel like it was like
comparatively,
5
yeah.
overweight actresses and 1 thin actress.
Yeah, you're
That's
right.
what I saw.
And they like
But-
You're right.
stormed the table
Like,
like
they
they
were, like-
hadn't eaten in like
Exactly.
10 years.
They
Yeah.
like
that's how
stampeded
I
the
feel when I
table.
see cookies, though.
I mean, yes, that's how I behave when I see Girl Scout cookies. But
But yeah, they
yeah.
definitely
Nonetheless.
cast that intentionally. With,
yeah, no, that
Yeah,
was
they
like,
cast
let's
it
get in our fat
intentionally. It
joke
was a bummer.
while we
Yeah.
can. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they sell. But they're selling lots of cookies.
They sell a whole lot of cookies.
They sell
4,000.
4,732 boxes.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I wrote that down.
And she
'cause
calls
that was a lot.
And she throws a gala.
She throws a gala.
Velda and like
Yeah.
brags to her and
Well, I don't think she was bragging.
no, she was
I
just
think
like, look what
she
what-
was
what
like,
we
well,
did, bitch."
here's what she did. The fake out. She was like, we didn't sell 2,000 boxes, and Velda, being the terrible person
Velda
that she is,
yeah.
she's like, I knew you wouldn't sell all those boxes, and she's like, we actually sold 4,732 boxes, so we're gonna have a gala, and we want you to come, and we'll present you the check. So maybe she is rubbing it in her face in a passive aggressive way. That's
but is
possible.
she
I would do the same thing.
Lately.
Or is it that Phyllis just genuinely thinks that like this is a nice gesture, like
Maybe she's trying to.
because to me
extend
the phone
the
call
olive
that
branch.
she calls her, yeah, she's like, oh, we did so great, like you're gonna be so proud, like come get all this money for your organization, like it's a black tie event, like come on, enjoy yourself. Like I mean, I feel like if she was trying to embarrass her,
I
she
mean,
would have been
she-
like, come over and then like
Well,
And
she,
then
I
have
don't think
her
she was
throw
trying to
pig's blood
embarrass
on
her,
you.
but I think just like between the two of them,
Maybe
she
I'm just
wanted.
twisted.
I think she wanted to tell her like, look, like you didn't believe in us, and
We're
we
legit.
did. We're legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the parents are there.
That she shows up in like this.
This cupcake dress or something.
She's
Yes.
dressed like a cupcake.
Yeah.
God, it's
And Mary Gross shows up dressed like a sex
A
bot.
sexy
Yes.
bumblebee.
No,
Like
she looks
weird-
like a robot that's been built for sex.
To me, she always looks like a bumblebee. She's got those
Maybe it's
weird
because she's
stripes.
so thin. I don't know. And
I don't know why. Like, I'm trying to figure out what the idea behind that costume was. Like, yes, she's gone over to the other side.
she has great boobs.
Right.
she's adorable, but I'm like, why is she dressed like Betty Boop handing out cigarettes? Like, I'm not understanding. Like, I lived through the 80s and I don't recall that being a style that someone would choose to wear to a gala.
I guess if we're giving full credit, Phyllis has been converting her throughout, you know, with the grooming badge being the first
That's true.
step,
She did take her mustache off
and had the mani-pedi and the hair and all that stuff done. So,
but why the tiny weird dress and with the bra, the boobs hanging out?
Are just
the push-ups
are just hanging
epic
out. I'm confused by that. Like, I would understand if they put her in I'm genuinely confused as a viewer. Like, and a woman.
It seemed like an extreme that wasn't necessary.
Story-wise confusing to me. Like, if you put her in a dress that's like one of Phyllis's dresses, those like weird asymmetrical high fashion 80s dresses, but she doesn't like look comfortable in it. Like, it's kind of weird and not quite high fashion. Like, maybe it's a little
that
off.
Makes more sense.
That would have made sense. Like, I don't understand why she's in like some kind of
Phyllis
fetish. She's in like a fetish dress.
Yeah, she is.
Because
what is
Phyllis
that?
Doesn't typically wear.
I've never seen her
It
wear
made me feel like I was
anything
seeing
that's,
like
showing a lot of skin.
Yeah, it made me feel like I was like looking at like my mom dressed up like that. Like, it was just like wrong.
Well, I guess when you think about it, like all the other women are in like formal, long, like ball gowns and dresses, and she's like in this like flirty, like homecoming dress that she maybe wore way back then.
It wasn't
It was like a cocktail
it looked
dress.
Like a,
I don't know.
It looks like a fetish dress.
It looked like she was like a waitress at like a nightclub or something.
Yes, a waitress in a nightclub, a Playboy bunny. I'm just saying, like, I feel like
it wasn't appropriate.
It just it wasn't not just appropriate, but it didn't make sense
else's.
story-wise to me. Like, if I was Mary Gross, I would be like, why is my fucking character wearing this? Like, this doesn't make sense. Like, yeah, put her in something outrageous, but not like this weird Playboy bunny dress, which I don't see that Phyllis would own that, because I've never seen her wear something like that.
You know, kind of shuffled off with this guy.
Creepy guy.
It was Cheech.
I believe it was literally Cheech Marin.
It was
like it was
Marin.
Cheech playing himself, right?
Danced.
And Cheech is like,
boing.
yeah, boing, which is my least favorite way for a man to
Who
come
did
onto
she-
a
who
woman.
did she-
It was a wrong turn.
Yeah.
To me.
It would have hit a funnier note if the outfit had been different.
Or if she'd been trying to be like high society, whereas we already have established that she's kind of like this like gritty, like outdoorsy. She's more.
But she came in her own when she was leading that meeting, like when Shelley Long had to, when Phyllis had to step aside to speak with her husband, and she said, "Here, take over," and she stood there, deer in headlights, for a moment, but then they pan back to her, and she's actually
which is
speaking
great.
and so
but what I
forth.
mean, like her character is like more the outdoorsy, like
absolutely.
wearing the big khaki shorts. And like, if you take that character and put that character in a situation where she's like trying to fit in with high society, but she's not, like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But did she
This
ever
weird
really
sex
fit in
outfit.
with Velda though?
She
or was
didn't,
she just
but
like
she
following
never fit
behind
in-
Velda?
Not with
I
Velda,
don't
but
know
I think
where
she's.
she fit in. Where did she
We
actually
don't know.
fit?
Like,
Because
what
she
if she
didn't fit
was
with
just
Velda? She didn't fit with.
Well, no, we're not at the end yet, but when we get there at the jamboree, she did a very good job of using the walkies to kind of guide them through the process. So I honestly think in the sequel to this movie, Mary Gross becomes like gets Velda's job and is like running the troops. That's what I would think.
Yeah.
Like, she would be good for that.
assume.
I don't think they understood the strengths of the actress.
Yeah.
It didn't make
makes
a lot of
sense.
sense to me. I don't want to point fingers, but I feel like the male director was just like, wouldn't it be funny if we put her in this sex outfit? You know what I'm saying? That's the impression I get.
Well, I think that's what sex looks like.
Isn't it funny when we make
like-
women who aren't sexy look sexy?
Yeah. And
Blech.
instead, we would have continued to play up the comedy. And
Exactly,
it still
because
would have
she's a
looked sexy,
comedian.
because what's one of the first things we said about Shelley Long throughout this whole film? We were like, she looks really sexy, but she
does,
didn't have to show a
but
lot of
she's
skin
not
because
being
of it.
dressed like a sex bot. No. Anyway.
Fred shows up and asks for a dance with his wife.
Yes.
While Phyllis is dancing with the dictator.
Yes.
Also known as Dick. He like says something about like, you turned yourself around. You look great. Like softer or something like that. And I was like, what
I
does
never
that
want to hear that as a compliment ever again.
I take softer to mean like maternal and like complacent and like kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
doormat-ish.
but no matter how
like-
softer means, it's all bad. Like if it means like
Softer
your
means
boobs,
pliable.
Yeah, or
You
like
know?
or like I can see your boobs and they look soft. Like that's what I that's what I, like that's initially what I thought
your
of it
dirty
as.
pillows.
dirty pillows. And this is also
And I
where
don't
he-
see
one
what
of those
makes her soft.
backhanded
Like she
compliments.
is like
I mean,
running
she's in
that
charge.
shit.
She
is
pulled this
running
gala
that
together,
shit.
and there's a reason they're even having it. So why he thought that was the best word choice?
How about
Yeah.
you seem like really in charge of things?
Yeah.
You've come into your own as a leader.
You seem very
You're
passionate.
making
Yeah.
these kids' lives better. Like there's so many things you could have said instead of like, I'm
You
proud of
seem
you. You seem
softer.
softer.
I wonder
And
if
I'm
that
like,
was a line written by the two women who wrote the screenplay, or if that was added by
I don't
a
know.
man.
Yeah, it'd be
I don't know.
interesting to see. It came across
Yeah.
to me as so random. I bought in that, she was doing it for her. Actually, she really wanted to do this.
Yeah.
And then she did and felt the success and the hope that he saw it, which was reflective of what Hannah was saying earlier.
Yeah.
Saying like, gosh, I just wish my dad could see this side of
But
her.
on the other hand, I'm like, I don't want them to get back together because
Well,
he's
yeah.
gross. And I think I would rather see a movie where Mary Gross and Shelley Long get a kick-ass apartment together and like
become
and
co-parents.
and fucking run this Wilderness Girls game like the boss ladies that they are. Like I don't want her to get back
Yeah.
with him. He's gross and I just ugh. There's
Yeah.
nothing about that I am rooting for.
Or we just expect that that's what, should happen.
At no point did I want them to get together. And in fact, I didn't remember if they did or not. And I was really
I
hoping
didn't
that
either,
they
and
wouldn't.
I honestly didn't remember that Fred was a character at all in this movie.
Well, yeah, I
Also,
remember
for
her,
children
and I
of
remember the
divorce,
troop, and
it's not realistic for the parents
No.
to get back together. It's not.
No.
Because most of the time they don't.
no.
And when
And
they
if they
do,
do,
it's not
still
usually
not any
good.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
not usually
there's a
good.
reason this
Yeah.
film ended when it did.
Does Velma come and convince her not to go to the jamboree first, or does
Yes.
okay? So Velma comes by.
Hannah leaves and goes to stay with her dad, and then there's a knock at the door, and it's Velda, and she like comes in and is like, "Yeah, you can, it's irresponsible for you to take the girls to the
Yeah,
jamboree.
she's
Like,
like,
you don't know what you're
You're
doing.
you're
like,
gonna get someone killed.
Yeah, like you're leading them into danger, which I'm not gonna lie, I totally get. Like, I don't know much about the woods, but I know more than Phyllis does, and I still don't think I would like lead a group of preteens
Look,
into the woods.
it can't be that fucking dangerous if it's like a pike for fucking kids.
Well, but
I'm
you
just
see
saying.
what she did to them.
Oh my
This
gosh!
isn't like
you watched
this-
the same
this-
film, right?
I
There were
know, like-
fucking water moccasins.
Well, they
ridiculous.
took a wrong turn. That was the featherhead's
But if you
fault.
can make a wrong turn,
Look,
they might.
It's the woods, man. It's not that hard. You follow some flags. We'll get there.
I
It
get
wasn't
it.
like Savage
But-
Race. They weren't
No.
like
No,
climbing
but-
through pits
know,
with electrical
but-
wire. They were taking a walk. They basically took a walk in the woods.
Well, and then stayed overnight in the woods
Yeah.
with the bears.
Hillary.
Well, it's true. I'm
it's
just
people
thinking,
like you who don't take the woods seriously, Nicole.
You don't
I'm just
appreciate
saying-
the woods.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, well-
they're not even in the woods alone. Like, they're out there with a bunch of other people. I'm just saying, like,
I know. Okay.
also
so
they had like
But
if
the
Vel-
ratio of adults to kids, what is that?
different than
yeah,
what
but
it
they
should
also
have
had
been.
Different
Annie.
than what is legal.
Look, I
now.
know Velda. I know Velda
Liability.
tried real hard to kill those girls. Like that is clear. She tried real
Yeah.
hard. But excluding her, like Annie was supposed to go with them, and she could have led. I'm just saying, like I don't
That's true.
see
If
why.
Annie had been
If
there,
Annie had
doesn't
been there,
make
well,
sense.
yeah. But
Most of us don't have survival training, and I know this was like a one day, just like a day thing. But if
2
you're-
days.
it's 2 days.
Overnight.
Okay, I'm
It's an
sorry.
overnight.
Sorry.
yes.
But if you're gonna survive in the woods, like most of us wouldn't know how.
Shall we talk about the jamboree?
Go to the
I think
jamboree.
we should.
They go to the jamboree, so we're in the jamboree.
And it's not a
By the way,
dance.
the
which is what
jamboree
I thought.
sounds-
It's a
right?
2 day
I did not realize camping.
event. 2-day camping
Yeah,
exploration.
Jamboree implies some kind
expedition.
of like festival, or like maybe there's going to be carnival rides there, but no, it's just like a walk through the woods.
'Cause I was
It's kinda
thinking, I
disappointing.
thought they went camping, and I just didn't recall that they had referred to it as a jamboree.
Yeah.
Is that what all jamborees are?
No.
Okay.
I was
No.
expecting it to be like a dance or like a festival
I
or
think
something.
That like the idea of a jamboree is like a gathering of
Okay.
people involved in.
Because
an
I personally have
activity.
never been invited to a jamboree,
I don't think I have either.
so I don't have a lot of experience with that.
I feel like we
I
had them at
mean-
camp.
Yeah,
I didn't
camp.
go
we
to
would-
camp.
Oh, well,
Everybody's looking at me with pity.
sorry.
How sad.
I did not go to camp.
Well,
I went to all
I
kinds
watched
of camp.
television
I went
during
to
the summer
acting
like a
camp.
normal child.
I went to circus camp at one point.
Circus camp.
nice.
I used to.
I could
nanny
never
for
go
a
to
kid
circus camp.
who
Too many
went to-
clowns.
I went to I nannied for a kid who went to
Too many
circus
clowns.
camp, and it was really cool. I would
No,
go
I
and
learned how
watch
to
him do
like
stuff.
do
It's cool.
the trapeze and the sky cloud swing and clowning. We learned how to
Now
clown
that
and-
that would be a jamboree. So basically, they're set up for the jamboree. Everybody's got to take a walk and follow these flags, right? And then they counting out the troop Beverly Hills, but then they show up at the last minute.
Velda
Go
kills
from
a bird
one
when
pl-
she shoots the
She
starter
does.
pistol,
She's
which is obviously a real pistol around these children.
Yes.
if she's taking down birds.
The red feathers are switching the flags and get them
Yes.
lost. Annie's not allowed to go in with them because Velma fires her, which I
Right.
didn't know you could get fired from it's a volunteer position, right? Am I
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
Can you
was
get
under
fired
the
from a
impression-
volunteer?
I mean,
position?
Yeah,
I
you
think if you
certainly
like have
could.
misconduct, you're allowed to say like
Oh.
you cannot like
Yeah.
come back.
Yeah.
But that doesn't seem like a fireable offense.
I don't think Annie had any misconduct though.
No, she just fires her because she doesn't want to give the troop any
An
kind of advantage.
advantage,
So
right.
she's Annie's communicating with them through the walkie-talkies.
Right.
They get lost in the swamp because they get misdirected by the flags, and
But
then they
Shelley
encounter
Long
this.
stays positive through this part. Though,
She
and
does.
She's
She
like,
is.
This
She's
is
positive.
fabulous.
Yeah.
Isn't this fabulous?
She's like,
girls
until
are
they see the
learning?"
snake.
And then, they see a skunk first.
No, they see the snake first. And then
Really?
they see
Snake
then the
first?
girls
The
see the skunk
snake
on the
is
way
what-
back.
Ah.
The
What
skunk
sends 'em
propels
through.
them. Well, no, the snake gets them out of the swamp. As they're leaving the swamp, Shelley Long is giving them this pet talk, and then all the kids see the skunk, and they start running, and then she starts running, and the skunk propels them through using fear to beat the red feathers on the first day.
Yeah.
And then Velda picks up the skunk and like says something mean to it, like "I will get you for this" or something.
Yeah.
And then the very next shot, you see like her wearing the skunk hat.
She makes a fucking hat out of that
And
skunk.
a stew.
Oh,
And
you
the
think? Oh
stew,
my
yeah.
God,
I
she's eating
think
this.
so.
Shit, she's eating skunk.
She ate skunk.
Oh my
Gross.
God.
That's my theory.
Oh
I
my God,
hated her.
that
because
stand- that holds
skunk
up.
was adorable.
It's disgusting.
I was like, that bitch
It was so cute.
is
skunk
not
was
fucking
super
around.
cute.
No.
She made that. She skinned the skunk, dried it out, and made a fucking hat
Yeah.
In one evening.
one
in
day.
one
Went-
evening.
And ate it.
Yeah, that's
I'm
fucked up.
convinced. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
What happened to the stink land? Sorry.
so
Should probably put it in her pocket for later. It's like, I'm gonna use this perfume tomorrow.
all right. So the next day, they have to cross this bridge, and Velda is trying very hard to kill these children. She cuts the bridge across this ravine, which I'm not really sure why they're crossing this very dangerous ravine anyway.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I was like,
So
either the
they
trail-
do what any normal person would do when not able to cross a dangerous ravine by bridge. They decide to go by log.
Yeah. By fallen tree.
This log looks very
Yeah.
fake, by the way.
And
Heels.
they do it, in heels, and they're doing it standing up.
Just
Oh,
That's
crawl.
what I'm like,
belly
Glad
crawl.
you noticed that because Nicole and I were like, "What are they doing?"
Yeah,
It was
why
not
don't
the
very
most
they?
efficient way to
traumatizing.
cross that.
I would have been on all fours,
Oh, yeah.
or like straddling the log and then pushing along.
Well, I guess this is
it
Hannah's
just-
moment.
We start the film out with Hannah on the
The balance beam.
Correct.
Yeah,
So they set that up.
capable of
that's right.
this. So that's
Yeah.
the
Except for the
setup
balance
this.
beam isn't over a bunch of jagged fucking rocks.
And she didn't get her shoe caught in the hole,
Yeah.
which that was disturbing.
Well, Shelley Long goes across first, gets stuck.
Yeah.
Hannah comes out there.
Yeah, and then
I don't understand how this is suitable terrain at all for this age group. That they should be going across this.
so I think the bigger dilemma here is that we weren't able to suspend disbelief
No.
in this moment.
Well, what Hannah says as she gets on the log is this time I'm going to take care of you, which is like, well,
Haven't you been doing that a little bit?
All the times.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, I will say at the end of this scene, I think it's really cute because neither of them were able to get across the log on their own. But like by the end of it, she like grabs your hand and is like being motherly and is like, "How dare you come out here?" And I was like, "Oh, they can do it together when they're like in their normal zone, but like they can't do it alone." And I
then they
thought that
don't
was cute.
realize right away that they have
Right.
crossed.
Yeah.
You ready for this theory, guys?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Let's hear it.
The log is divorce. Boom.
Boom. Mind blown.
They cross this dangerous ravine together, and they make it to the other side, and they're stronger.
I don't know if the writers were
Boom.
thinking that hard.
Oh no, that log was divorce. They get across and they're not really sure right away. And then they're like, "Oh, we did it together." And it's like, we made it through this log of divorce together.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's
Oh,
good
that
symbolism.
log was divorce.
Yeah.
For sure.
I kind of thought that it
Sarah's
was
not
also
convinced.
I think they weren't thinking that hard. I think this screenplay was not that deep.
Yeah.
Another thing that happens. Okay, you've got it. You're going.
Well,
You've got
Velda
it.
is watching them as they
Right.
repair the bridge,
Yeah.
and this really bothered me. And like maybe I heard it wrong, but I think she calls them bimbesses in
Yes.
the scene.
Yes, she
Like,
does.
Those bimbesses got across the bridge, and I was like, did she just call a bunch of like 12-year-olds bimbos?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it really bothered me
Yeah.
that like she would
Yeah.
do that. It
Yeah,
really
she
pissed
did.
me off.
She totally
but
did.
Yeah, that was
Immediate
gross.
retribution because then she falls.
Well,
in a hole.
she falls in a hole, and then we kind of forgot to mention that she actually sent the other troop leader home so that she
Yeah.
could take over the red
Yeah.
feathers.
Which if I was that troop leader, I'd be like, fuck yeah,
Sweet,
peace
see ya.
out.
And her daughter, of course, is in that group.
Yeah.
And
Conflict of interest.
And
Well,
she
both of
laid
them.
out
and
the
Tori Spelling,
thing.
who we forgot to mention, is in this movie. Tori
yes.
Spelling is one of the other red feathers. You didn't notice
She
that?
not the
I
main red
totally
feather?
missed that.
She was the second, like the camera was always on two of them,
Okay.
and she was the other one, not the one that was the daughter of Velda, but the
not
other
the
one.
mean blonde one, but the blonde one that didn't say anything.
Correct.
With a strong jaw.
The strong blonde one with the strong jaw. So Velda falls into a hole, and her group leaves her because she's going to slow them down. They leave her some food and water,
You reap what you sow.
Rations.
and
and
she
water.
screams as they leave, "Those bitches!"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like calls a
Calls her
bunch of
kids
children
bitches.
bitches, and then she's like, "I hate children." And so the other troop Beverly Hills, hears her, and they come back, and they make a decision after some
and the-
debating
But the
that they're going to
girls
take
were
her.
ready to leave her.
Yeah, they
This
were.
is when
girls were
this is when
like,
Phyllis gets her sassy. Like, I see what you've been doing, Velda, and I acknowledge it, but I'm going to
Be the bigger
save
person.
you.
Yeah.
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 But I also think she kind of throws it in her face too, because like the girls discuss it and they're like, we're going to leave her here. Like, let's not carry any dead weight. I want to win.
Yeah.
And she was like, but remember your values, girls, like friendship, honesty,
Yeah.
like sisterhood. We're going to take care of Velda. She's our sister.
Yeah.
And they do.
Yep,
And I was
they
like,
take their-
all right.
They take their closet backpacks.
that
They're
were
engineered
made
back.
fun of.
They take their STEM backpacks and they engineer themselves a stretcher and they
Yeah.
carry Velma out of there.
Yeah.
That irony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the end here, let's see. I don't think there's too much
Well,
more.
Velda's still a dick about it
Yeah,
even
she
when they're
is a
carrying
huge
her
dick.
out.
Yeah,
She's
she
just
won't tell them.
screaming
Yeah.
at them.
She won't tell them how to
Yeah.
get out of the. Yeah, she's being a real dick about it. The red feathers cross the finish line first. The elder wilderness scout leader is like, "Where's your troop leader?" And they're like,
She's
"Oh."
about to award them the trophy, but doesn't hand it over until like she knows that the troop leader's there, and then
Right, they
the girl
can't.
tries
Not
to
the whole
steal
team.
it
They
back
do
from her.
steal
They
it.
do.
They like run off with it.
Yeah.
And Troop Beverly Hills comes through and crosses the line, and they're declared the winners because they crossed with everyone, but they don't get a trophy because those other
Yeah,
Bimbesses.
they say it's fine because all we wanted to do was prove we were real wilderness girls.
And then
Yeah.
she said, "Well, who ever told you that you weren't?" And then they're all like, "Velda."
Well, Velda gets fired because
Yeah.
she
Yeah,
goes off
right.
on the troop
Yeah.
president
Yeah.
lady, whatever her title is. I don't know,
she's
but
gonna make what is it? Velda's.
she calls her
something.
like an old bat or something.
Puritans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Puritans.
No,
No,
it's
no,
like
pioneers.
pilgrims.
no. What is her
Pilgrims
last
and
name?
Puritans.
Velda.
I don't know.
It's like
Yeah, it
pa,
went together.
pilgrims. Blah blah.
She was going to
yeah,
split off and make
Puritans.
her own
Yeah.
type
Organization,
of wilderness girls
yeah.
things, but she gets fired for being a bitch.
Yeah.
And runs off, and then the troop celebrates, and
guess who shows
in
up?
comes Craig T. This is when he's dressed all in white.
Yeah.
This is when
This is
At
the
the
outfit he's wearing,
jamboree.
that he's dressed all in white,
of
like
course
the
it
White
is.
Knight.
Like,
And he's real gross,
Yeah.
and he wants to kiss the troop leader.
He does.
which is just gross.
Yeah, he's like acting like he's part of things. Suddenly,
Also, she just came out of a 2-day trip in the woods where she was like knee deep in a swamp and like attacked by a skunk. Like, I wouldn't want to kiss that woman.
Guess
That
that's a good
sounds
point.
disgusting.
I just wouldn't want to kiss
But
Craig
why
T
is
because
in
he didn't
white?
earn it.
And why is he joining in the song? Why is he there? Why is he like enjoying the?
He didn't have anything to do with it. I
yeah.
know. He's not on the good guy's side.
And none
in
of
my
it's really
opinion.
resolved, is it? Like,
No.
he doesn't
it's
say
like-
anything about it. It's just like, oh, we're together
because
again.
kisses fix everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
this
my
is
experience, too.
1989, and they still end a movie like this.
Look, I'm very happy for them that they win and they get the poster and all of
Yes.
that.
Yes.
And
they don't end up with badges or trophies or
yeah,
but
they get
have,
nothing. But you
they
know what? They're so
convert
fucking
the words
rich.
of the song.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
The song. There is a song that we didn't mention that they sing about True Beverly Hills, and that's the first one is about them not really being able to do anything other than shop, but then
Yeah.
this version is more about them being self-sufficient and all of that, and that's great. I really hate it in movies when divorced people get back together.
Yeah.
I really
So
hate
you
it.
must hate The Parent Trap.
I've never seen The Parent Trap.
Oh,
Whoa.
Don't
my
watch it.
my mom was
think it's
also
something I
a
would
child
like.
of like divorced parents, and she said that The Parent Trap was like the fantasy that never would come true.
Yeah, I mean, if your parents are getting divorced, like, there's a good reason for that.
Yeah.
You know, people get divorced for good reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody's going to go through that on a whim, you know?
No.
And I
don't
feel
know.
like
I've
Craig
had,
T.
6. Like, divorce,
I feel like
then
Craig
marry.
T exhibits the characteristics of a person who should not be in a marriage in this
Nope.
movie, except for like all of a sudden at the end he's like, I'm supportive and I'm here, and it's like, what are you doing here? Like, this moment isn't
feels like-
about you.
feels like
Yeah.
It's about the troop and the
And it's
women.
disappointing that it all comes back to the relationship
Yeah,
and
like that's a thing that has to be
what did he
one.
do? I mean, he
Yeah.
didn't. Go
I'm glad
through
Rosa's there because I feel like
Yeah,
Rosa was a part
Rosa
of things.
helped.
But like he's like the quintessential man that's just like everything's about me, right? Like just shows
Well,
up.
I feel like
and-
I guess like the idea is to take it another way. I feel like the idea is like she gets everything. She gets the troop gets the trophy. She gets like Velma gets fired. Like she gets her husband back. I just feel like she doesn't need the husband. Is
Nope.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then of course Velma ends up at the Kmart.
Yes.
At the end.
Yes.
With a sale on cookies.
Yeah.
That's true. That's
Which I thought was
her own
funny.
personal
It's a
hell.
good little button.
Yeah.
Final
definitely.
thoughts. Final thoughts on True Beverly Hills.
I loved this movie. I thought that it was a movie about like accepting yourself for who you are and like being who you want to be. And like, I liked that about it.
Yeah, I agree.
I and it's an unsuspecting like hero and villain situation. It's all around. I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed it as a child. And rewatching it as an adult, I am very happy
Yeah,
that I watched that as a kid.
yeah.
I enjoyed this a lot as a kid. I also enjoyed it as an adult. It's not my favorite type of movie, but it was entertaining, and that's really all you need sometimes. So
Yeah, totally.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, I love this film. I'm disappointed with a couple of the choices here
Yeah.
and there
Yeah.
throughout, but
Yeah. I'd like to say we're past some of that, but I'm not really
no,
sure that we
we're
are.
not.
Yeah.
I wish we could say that.
I don't think we're quite
So
there
that those parts were disappointing, and but it wasn't.
This is
It's
why
something
we
that I
need so
see-
many different voices in filmmaking.
Yeah, totally, definitely, and but it's a fun, lighthearted comedy, and I think in the sense of this idea of coming of age and whatever age you are.
Yeah. Good point.
Is something there's something to be said for that. And it's never too late to develop or change or figure yourself out or reinvent yourself. Yeah. Which that's always a good reminder to have.
Yeah, that's true. That is a really nice thing about this movie.
Yeah, that's a good observation. I like that.
Shelley Long and her Cheeto dust hair are delightful.
Yeah.
I'm still going to get that hairdo.
I'm so excited! I'm so excited! I'm so scared!
Welcome to our next segment, Nervous Breakdowns. In this segment, we read bad casting breakdowns. And today, what I've got for you guys is an article. It originated on the site Women and Hollywood. It was going around, I don't know, it may have, let's see, looks like it's from May 31st, so it's been around for a couple months, but I didn't see it until recently on Facebook. The title of the article is Casting for Quentin Tarantino-Produced Film Calls for Horrors. That doesn't mean that he put it out himself. We're not necessarily insinuating that. But whatever casting company put it out, I'm going to let you read this, Laura. Let's give you the honor of reading that.
I would love
to.
to.
Here is the casting breakdown. You can see it right there in the center.
Okay. Casting horrors for Quentin Tarantino project. Caucasian, non-union females, ages 18 to 35. Western film shoots June 21st through June 25th in Los Angeles. No highlights, natural eyebrows, natural breasts, natural hair. Color to be true to the period. Dress sizes 2 to 8. Please send photo, including sizes 2, and write whore in the subject line.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. If you are in the database, you may comment with your name below, and I will use your database profile to submit to the director. Thanks! !
Please submit with the subject line whore. So
It's my dream role,
right?
Mom.
Yeah, guess what?
And
I'm
I
submitting
bring up your
for.
Mom, I got the part. I'm gonna be a whore.
Yeah.
And the rest of the article talks about like, well, I mean, like perhaps like they were casting, you know, like prostitutes and stuff, but why didn't they use anything besides the word whore?
Yeah, basically the article is like, hey, look, it's not like people don't cast sex workers in movies, but could you not have gone with brothel workers or prostitutes or something other than whore?
Exactly.
This site contacted the casting agency, which then pulled it down, but not before they got the
But
screen
also
grab
like those
of the casting site.
the detail of the like natural eyebrows and blah 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 blah. And it's like, do men get that kind of scrutiny? Like,
I don't know. I'd love to hear that I lost a role because my eyebrows were natural enough.
Natural breasts.
I'm sorry, you're like really perfect for this role, but your eyebrows
eyebrows
are
are
just
not.
well,
crazy.
I used to have a roommate who had to draw on her eyebrows because her eyebrows got like they were just, she didn't have any more eyebrows, so she had to draw them on. So I guess that they're probably like specifying that. But
I don't know.
But if you're
Are
sending
they
a
trying
picture,
to ease you into it though? Because it starts with
it seems
no
okay at
highlights,
first.
natural eyebrows, natural breasts.
It's like, oh,
natural
okay,
hair
nudity.
color to be true to the period. And so all of this is rattled off in the same sentence.
Natural
And the
bush.
caveat is to be true to the period.
Let's all be real here.
Yeah.
God, I wish I was a worse person because I would see that casting breakdown and be like, well, I'm going to send him my natural bush.
Or
Snap a
just
picture of the full Keaton.
Just the full
Send
Keaton.
it off.
Subject line, whore.
Whore. As you can tell, everything about me is natural.
Welcome to Plug It Up. In this segment, we talk a little bit about the things that we are working on that we would like you to see or listen to. Laura, let's start with our guest, Laura. What would you like to plug?
Oh, I'd love for people to come to visit as though I'm inviting them over to my house. I'd love for people to check out my Vimeo channel and see some of the films that I've written and directed or
Excellent.
Had a couple cameos in. One that I'm really proud of is The Silent Treatment. It's actually a silent film, which is pretty ironic because I'm so chatty. But But yeah, it's a really neat film about relationships and how we make choices and the impact that our choices can have on the people that we really care about. And I have another film up there that I worked on and submitted to HBO's Project Greenlight.
Awesome.
Called When One Door Opens, and that's a really powerful film. To me, it's short. It's just, if you have 2.5 minutes, you're golden. But
that is awesome.
That one was really troubling, and actually has to do with guns and in schools and the impact that can have, and it's pretty
stuff.
Timely right now.
Yeah,
And
it's a very important topic.
But I think it's important to just give a heads up to those folks who wanted to check it out, that there is that content within that short film, and,
right? And to sort of bring a human story to it, I think is very important,
right?
Yeah.
And then of course visit the Critical Crop Top YouTube page. I've been really
Laura's all over that channel.
I am.
Laura's everywhere.
I have been really, really
She's
fortunate.
one of our favorite people to bring into play.
Yeah, she's awesome.
And she's very versatile. You might even not realize you're watching her because she's in so many different things and very different characters.
The characters
so
have been
versatile.
So fun to play. I loved the War on Christmas and being the 80s mom and that hair. Oh my word! And the glasses. That was awesome.
It was great to have you on that.
Before we go too far though, Laura, what is your Vimeo channel?
Yeah, please tell us your Vimeo channel. Is it under your name?
It is.
Okay.
It's under my name.
So it's Laura
Nothing
Meyers.
too
Laura
fancy.
Meyers.
It's pretty straightforward.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool.
Look for Laura Meyers on Vimeo. She's got a couple films up there.
Yeah.
Support women directors telling stories.
No kidding. Yeah, it's so important.
All right. So lastly, I'd like to plug 80s Dating Video Remix, which is our latest comedy short that we've got on the Critical Crop Top page. And Sarah's in it, and Hillary's in it, and I'm in it, and Laura's in it, and we've got a lot of other really funny ladies in it, and we're all dressed like dudes, and it's pretty great. Dudes from the 80s.
You don't want to miss it.
All right, so that's all we've got for you in this episode of the Feminine Mistake podcast. Please talk to us. Check us out on Facebook. You can follow Critical Crop Top. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. Subscribe to us on iTunes, on Stitcher, on SoundCloud. Send us an email, femininemistakepodcast@gmail.com. And thanks for joining us.
Yay!